You eat less than you used to. You skip the late-night snacks. You try to make better choices. Maybe you walk more, hit the gym when you can, and tell yourself this time you are finally going to stay consistent. But the belly fat is still there. It barely moves. And honestly, that can mess with your head. Because then you look at someone else who seems to eat whatever they want. They do not count every calorie. They are not spending 2 hours a day in the gym. Yet somehow, their stomach stays flat. So you start blaming yourself. Maybe your metabolism is broken. Maybe you are getting older. Maybe you just got unlucky with genetics. But what if the real problem is not how hard you are trying? What if it is what happens during the first hour after you wake up? Before breakfast, before your workout, before you have eaten a single calorie. Most people start their morning the same way. They grab their phone, they check messages, emails, or bad news. Then they drink coffee before water, rush around the house, sit in traffic, and eat something quick because it looks healthy. None of that feels dangerous. It feels normal. But normal does not always mean harmless. Your body is constantly reading signals. It notices stress. It notices light. It notices movement, sleep, hydration, and the kind of food you eat first. And those early signals can affect how hungry you feel, how steady your energy is, and how easily you fall into cravings later in the day. That is why you can do so many things right and still feel like your body is fighting you. It may not be fighting you at all. It may simply be responding to the same morning routine you have repeated for years. That is the frustrating part. But it is also the good news. Because you do not need to punish yourself harder. You do not need another extreme diet. And you do not need to spend your whole life in the gym. You may just need to change the way your day begins. In this video, we are going to look at the morning habits that can quietly work against your progress, why they matter, and what you can do instead. Some of them may surprise you. One of them is probably something you have been told is healthy. And once you see how these habits connect, you may finally understand why your belly fat has been so stubborn. Not because you are lazy, not because you failed, but because nobody ever taught you to pay attention to the first hour of your day. Before we talk about the habits, there is one thing you need to understand. Your body is always paying attention. Every morning, it starts collecting information long before you eat breakfast. It notices how you wake up. It notices your stress level, your sleep, your movement, the light around you, and even whether you drink water or reach for coffee first. None of those things seem like a big deal on their own. But together, they send your body a message. Think of it like this. Your body is asking one simple question every morning. Do I need to protect myself today? Or is everything okay? The answer changes how your body works for the rest of the day. When your body feels safe, everything runs more smoothly. Your energy stays steadier. Hunger feels more manageable. You are less likely to spend the whole day chasing snacks or fighting cravings. But when your body thinks something is off, it reacts differently. It becomes more cautious. It starts holding on to energy instead of using it. It prepares for stress instead of focusing on balance. The strange part is that your body does not always know the difference between real danger and modern life. A phone full of notifications, a stressful email before you even get out of bed, running late, skipping water, rushing through your morning. To your brain, those can all feel like signs that something is wrong, and your body responds the only way it knows how. That is why so many people feel like they are doing everything right, but still not getting the results they expected. It is not always about eating too much. It is not always about exercising harder. Sometimes, the problem starts before either of those things even happens. The first hour after you wake up sets the tone for the rest of your day more than most people realize. That is why small morning habits matter so much. They may look harmless. They may even seem completely normal, because everyone around you does them. But your body does not care what is normal. It only reacts to the signals you give it. Change those signals, and your body often starts responding in a different way. That is exactly what we are going to look at next. Not complicated tricks, not another extreme weight loss plan. Just a few everyday habits that quietly push your body in the wrong direction without you even realizing it. Let's start with something almost all of us do without even thinking. The moment the alarm goes off, we grab our phone. Maybe you just want to check the time. But a few seconds later, you are reading emails, scrolling through social media, checking the news, or replying to messages. It feels harmless. It only takes a minute, right? That is exactly what I used to think. The problem is that your brain is still waking up. It has not fully settled into the day yet. Then all of a sudden, you throw a flood of information at it. A work email, a bad headline, someone else's vacation photos. A text that stresses you out before your feet even touch the floor. Your body does not stop and ask whether those things are actually dangerous. It just notices that something feels urgent, and it reacts. That is why some mornings you feel tense before your day has even started. You have not gone to work. You have not dealt with your responsibilities. Yet somehow, you already feel behind. That feeling follows you. It affects your focus, your mood, and even the choices you make later in the day. The crazy part is that most of us have accepted this as normal. We wake up and immediately let the outside world take over. We never give ourselves a chance to wake up on our own. A simple change can make a bigger difference than you expect. Instead of reaching for your phone, give yourself the first 30 minutes. Drink some water, open the curtains, take a few deep breaths, walk around the house. Just let your brain wake up without throwing 100 new problems at it. Those emails will still be there. The notifications are not going anywhere. But giving yourself a calm start can completely change how the rest of your morning feels. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your body is not adding another healthy habit. It is removing one stressful habit that never needed to be there in the first place. Now let's talk about something millions of people do every single morning. Coffee comes first. For a lot of us, it almost feels automatic. You wake up, walk into the kitchen half asleep, and the first thing you reach for is the coffee maker. It feels like you cannot even start your day without it. I get it. I've been there. But think about what your body has just gone through. You have spent the last 7 to 9 hours sleeping without drinking any water. The moment you wake up, your body is already trying to get itself going. Then, before giving it what it actually needs, you pour in caffeine. That has become so normal that most people never stop to question it. The funny thing is, what feels like a lack of coffee might not actually be a lack of coffee. Sometimes your body is simply asking for water, and when that doesn't happen, everything else starts feeling off. You feel sluggish. Your head feels a little foggy. A couple of hours later, you think you're hungry again, so you grab another snack. But was it really hunger? Or was your body still trying to tell you it needed hydration first? That is what surprised me the most. We are so quick to solve every morning problem with another cup of coffee that we never stop to ask what our body has been missing since we opened our eyes. The good news is that this is one of the easiest habits to change. Before you make your coffee, drink a big glass of water. Take 1 minute. That is all. Some people even add a small pinch of mineral salt, just like we talked about earlier. Then give yourself a little time before having coffee. You do not have to quit caffeine. You do not have to give up something you enjoy. Just change the order. Water first, coffee later. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but sometimes the smallest changes are the ones we repeat every day. And those are usually the habits that make the biggest difference over time. Here is another habit that almost nobody talks about. Not getting outside after you wake up. It sounds too simple to matter. Honestly, I used to think the same thing. A lot of us wake up in a dark room, walk through the house with the lights on, get in the car, then spend the rest of the morning inside an office. Hours go by before we see real daylight. It feels completely normal because that is how so many people live. But your body does not see it that way. When you wake up, it is waiting for one important signal. It wants to know that a new day has actually started. And the strongest signal it can get is natural sunlight. Without it, your body never gets that clear message. It is almost like trying to start your day with the wrong clock. Everything still works, but it does not feel quite right. Your energy may stay low. You may feel sleepy much earlier than you expect. Some days you are hungry, even though you just ate. Other days you feel wide awake late at night when you should be getting ready for bed. It all starts to feel random, but maybe it is not. Maybe your body has simply been missing one of the signals it has relied on for your entire life. The good news is that fixing this does not cost anything. You do not need expensive equipment. You do not need a special routine. Just step outside. Spend a little time in natural light during the first part of your morning. Even if the sky is cloudy, even if you only walk around the block, that small habit tells your body that the day has begun. And when your body gets the right signal early, everything else throughout the day starts working together a little better. This is why I like to combine it with a short walk. You are already outside. You are already moving. There is no need to make it complicated. Sometimes, the habits that create the biggest changes are the ones that seem almost too simple to be worth doing, until you actually stick with them. Then you realize your mornings feel different. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally started your day in a way your body understands. Now we get to the habit that surprised me the most, because it is something a lot of people believe is healthy. Think about a typical breakfast: a bowl of oatmeal, whole grain toast, granola with fruit, yogurt with honey, a glass of orange juice, maybe even a healthy-looking muffin from the grocery store. None of those foods sound unhealthy. In fact, many of us grew up believing they were the perfect way to start the day. That is why this habit catches so many people off guard. After sleeping all night, your body has been running on a steady, quiet system. Then breakfast comes along, and if that meal is loaded with carbohydrates, everything changes very quickly. Your blood sugar rises. Your body responds. A little while later, your energy starts dropping again. Then something familiar happens. You are hungry. Not because you have not eaten. Not because you need a huge meal. You just feel like grabbing something. A snack. A pastry. Another coffee. Anything that gives you a quick boost. And before you realize it, the cycle keeps repeating. The hardest part is that many people blame themselves. They think they have no self-control. They think they are addicted to food. But maybe they simply started the day in a way that made those cravings stronger. That idea changed how I looked at breakfast. Instead of asking, "What sounds good this morning?" a better question became, "What is going to keep me feeling satisfied for the next few hours?" That is where protein comes in. The video suggests building your first meal around protein instead of making carbohydrates the main focus. It does not have to be complicated. Eggs, Greek yogurt, or any protein source that fits your lifestyle. The goal is simple. Start with enough protein to help you stay full longer instead of chasing quick energy. That one change can make the rest of the day feel completely different. You are not constantly thinking about food. You are not counting down the minutes until your next snack. And you are not riding that up and down cycle all morning. What I like most about this idea is that it is practical. It is not about cutting out every carbohydrate forever. It is not about following another strict diet. It is simply about changing your first meal. Because the way you begin your morning often shapes the choices you make for the rest of the day. Sometimes one better breakfast leads to a better afternoon without you even realizing it. And over time, those small mornings are what create bigger results. Here is another habit that almost everyone does without thinking. You wake up, head straight to the kitchen, and eat as fast as you can. It feels responsible. We have always been told that breakfast should happen as early as possible, so most people never stop to ask if their body actually needs food the second they open their eyes. What really made me think was this: while you were sleeping, your body was not just resting. It was also going through a natural overnight period without food. Your last meal was hours ago, and your body finally had some time to work without constantly processing another one. Then the alarm goes off. 5 minutes later, breakfast is already on the table. That overnight window ends almost immediately. The point here is not to skip breakfast, and it is definitely not about starving yourself. That is not what this is saying. It is simply asking one question: do you really need to eat the moment you wake up? Or have you just been following a routine without ever thinking about it? Instead of rushing to the refrigerator, try slowing the morning down. Drink a big glass of water first. Step outside for a little sunlight. Take a short walk. Give your body a chance to fully wake up before your first meal. You might notice something interesting. That intense hunger you felt a few minutes ago may not be as strong anymore. Sometimes, what feels like hunger first thing in the morning is simply your body asking for water after an entire night without it. Even waiting a little while can make your breakfast feel more satisfying because you are eating when you are actually ready, not just because the clock says it is breakfast time. I like this idea because it is realistic. Nobody is asking you to follow an extreme fasting plan. Nobody is saying breakfast is bad. The goal is much simpler than that. Stop treating your morning like a race. Wake up, hydrate, move a little, let your body settle into the day, then eat. Sometimes giving your body a little more time is all it needs to respond in a different way. Here is one habit that almost nobody thinks about. It is not what you eat. It is what you do right after you finish eating. Think about your usual morning. You have breakfast, then you sit down. Maybe you open your laptop. Maybe you get in the car and drive to work. Maybe you head straight into your first meeting. Before you know it, you have been sitting still for an hour. It feels completely normal, because that is how most mornings look. But this part of the routine can matter more than we realize. After a meal, your body is busy dealing with everything you just ate. And according to the video, staying completely still means your body has fewer chances to put that energy to work right away. That was something I had never really thought about. We often believe exercise only counts if it leaves us sweating. If it is not a hard workout, we assume it probably is not doing much. But sometimes a simple walk is enough. The video points to research showing that short walks after meals can make a real difference. Not a long hike, not an intense workout, just 10 to 15 minutes of easy walking. That is it. The timing is what matters. When you move, even at an easy pace, your muscles immediately start working. Instead of sitting there, your body is actually using some of the energy from that meal. It is such a simple habit that most people overlook it. And honestly, it is one of the easiest changes you can make. You do not have to buy anything. You do not need a gym membership. You do not even need to change your schedule very much. Just finish breakfast and go outside for a few minutes. Walk around your neighborhood. Walk through a nearby park. Even walking around your block is better than dropping into a chair right away. I like this habit because it does not feel like exercise. It feels like giving yourself a few quiet minutes before the day gets busy. You clear your head, you move your body, and you avoid jumping straight from breakfast into another hour of sitting. Sometimes the healthiest habits are not the hardest ones. They are the ones that fit so naturally into your day that you hardly notice you are doing something good for yourself. Now we get to the habit that ties everything together. Because the truth is, none of these morning habits exist on their own. Most people do several of them every single day. Think about a typical weekday. Your alarm goes off. You grab your phone before you even sit up. A work email is waiting. The news is full of problems. Your coffee is brewing before you've had a sip of water. You're rushing to get dressed because you're already running behind. Traffic is backed up. Your calendar is packed before 9 o'clock. By the time you actually start working, it feels like you've already lived an entire stressful day. Sound familiar? I think almost all of us have had mornings like that. The problem is not one stressful moment. It is when all those little moments pile on top of each other. One notification, one deadline, one rushed decision, one more reason to feel like you are behind. Your body does not separate them into neat little categories. It simply notices that the morning feels stressful, and it responds to that. That is why changing one habit can help. But changing several of them together can completely change how your morning feels. The good news is that none of the changes in this video are complicated. You do not need a perfect routine. You do not need expensive supplements. You do not need to wake up at 5 in the morning. You just need to send your body better signals. So here is the simple routine the video recommends. First, leave your phone alone for the first 30 minutes. Give your mind a chance to wake up before the rest of the world demands your attention. Second, drink a large glass of water before anything else. Your body has gone all night without it. Start there. Third, get outside for a little natural light. Even a short amount of time can help your body recognize that the day has started. Fourth, while you are already outside, take a short walk. It does not have to be fast. It does not have to be long. Just move. Fifth, wait a little before having your coffee. You are not giving it up. You are simply changing the order. Water first, coffee later. Sixth, build your first meal around protein instead of making carbohydrates the center of your breakfast. The goal is to stay satisfied longer instead of chasing energy all morning. And finally, after breakfast, do one more short walk, just 10 minutes. It is a small habit, but it fits naturally into everything else you have already done. What I really like about this routine is that nothing feels extreme. There is no crash diet, no impossible workout, no complicated schedule. Every step is simple enough that almost anyone could try it tomorrow morning. That is how real habits are built, not by changing your entire life overnight, but by making one better decision, then another, until your mornings start feeling completely different. And here is the biggest takeaway. Your body is not trying to work against you. It is responding to the signals you give it every single day. For years, you may have been sending signals that told your body to start the day feeling rushed, stressed, and reactive. Now you have the chance to send different ones. Calm instead of chaos. Water before caffeine. Sunlight instead of staying indoors. Movement instead of sitting. A breakfast that keeps you satisfied instead of constantly chasing your next snack. None of those changes seem dramatic by themselves, but together they create a completely different start to the day. And sometimes that is exactly where lasting progress begins. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to change all 7 habits at once. Just pick one. Try it tomorrow morning. Stay with it for a week. Then notice how you feel. Sometimes the smallest morning change becomes the habit that changes everything else. Before you leave, I want you to remember one thing. You are probably not failing, and your body is probably not working against you. For a long time, you may have believed that losing belly fat was all about eating less, exercising harder, or having more discipline. I used to think the same way, but after looking at everything we talked about today, it becomes clear that your mornings may be shaping the rest of your day more than you ever realized. Think about it. The phone starts your day with stress. Coffee comes before water. You stay inside instead of getting natural light. Breakfast leaves you hungry again a couple of hours later. You eat the moment you wake up. Then you spend the rest of the morning sitting down. None of those habits seem like a big deal by themselves, but together, they create a routine your body repeats day after day. The good news is that habits work both ways. If small habits can slowly move you in the wrong direction, small habits can also move you back in the right one. That is why I am not asking you to change everything tomorrow morning. Do not try to fix all 7 habits at once. That usually does not last. Instead, pick just one. Maybe it is drinking water before coffee. Maybe it is leaving your phone alone for the first 30 minutes. Maybe it is taking a short walk after breakfast. Whatever feels easiest, start there. Stay with it for 7 days. Not forever. Just 1 week. Then pay attention. Do you feel more awake? Do you have fewer cravings? Does your morning feel a little calmer? Sometimes the biggest changes do not happen because we work harder. They happen because we stop working against ourselves. Real progress is usually built one small decision at a time. One better morning becomes another, then another. Before long, those little choices become your normal routine. If today's video helped you see your mornings in a different way, let us know in the comments. Which habit surprised you the most? And which one are you going to try first? I would really love to hear your experience after 7 days. If you enjoy simple, science-based health topics explained in a way that actually makes sense, make sure to subscribe to Hidden Organ Secrets. We share practical ideas that are easy to understand and even easier to use in real life. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.